The final game of Wild Card Sunday features a Rookie of the Year candidate versus Baker Mayfield and the comeback player that he has become over the last couple of years. Obviously, great season last year, another great season this year for Baker Mayfield. And we are going to get into breaking this game down, looking at the betting lines, the injury report, all that good stuff, just like I have all weekend long on every other game of Wild Card Weekend. So make sure you smash that like button if you're enjoying the game previews and hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 300 subscribers, so smash that subscribe button for me, join the community, and let's continue breaking down these games and get into this game preview of the Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, let's kick things off with Sunday night's injury report. And first things first, we're going to look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side. As you can see, you got Troy Hill, who is full participation in practice. Looks like he'll be good to go. Jamel Dean, questionable with a knee injury. Limited participation in practice. Antoine Winfield Jr. Was a full participation in practice with a knee injury. He is questionable. Mike Edwards, also questionable. Cade Otton, questionable as well. Both of those guys, limited participation in practice. Other than that, looks pretty good with Logan Hall, as well as Mike Evans, Sterling Shepard, Levante David, Bucky Irvin. These will all be things to look at during the game, but I think all of those guys should end up playing all full participation, besides Mike Evans, of course, due to rest. He had to get some rest in getting those extra receptions and yards last weekend to eclipse that 1,000-yard mark. So all in all, fairly healthy for the Buccaneers. You got Mike Edwards and Antoine Winfield, two safeties that are questionable in this game. We'll see. That would be huge if Winfield Jr. wasn't in the lineup, but everything looks like both of those guys will be a go. We'll see when it comes game time. Moving on to the Commanders side of things. Now, this one, big-time news with Marshawn Lattimore being cleared. He did not practice, but I have seen reports where it said he will play in Sunday night's game. That's big for the Commanders and their secondary. Jamison Crowder, questionable with a groin injury. Colson Yankoff is out with a hamstring injury. Touched on Marshawn Lattimore already. Frankie Louvu, limited participation, shoulder injury. Terry McLaurin did not practice. He was also getting rest. Jaden Daniels, a quad injury, but was full participation in practice. So, for the most part, clean bill of health on both sides. Should get a top performance out of each of these teams. Excited for this matchup. So let's get into the breakdown of the game. Tampa Bay is coming into this game extremely hot right now. They have won 6 of their last 7, 24-plus points in 7 straight games, and they've averaged 29.5 points per game, which is 4th in the entire NFL right now. And, if they can get that offense really going and humming early, I think Bucky Irvin is going to be a huge part of this game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense to really have success. It really doesn't matter who they've plugged in there at wide receiver this year. Baker Mayfield has done his thing, and the Buccaneers coaching staff has done an amazing job with the offense. And Todd Bowles is a defensive-minded head coach, but they have done a great job really molding Baker Mayfield these last couple of years to become the face of the franchise. Who would have thought that after Tom Brady, we got Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield was going to be as successful as he's been, especially after, the Browns' departure, the debacle in Carolina, the random, I think it was a Thursday night game in L.A. that he played for them. Crazy story for Baker Mayfield to have got to this point. On the other side of things with Washington, they are scoring 28.5 points per game. That is just behind Tampa Bay at 5th in the league. Jaden Daniels, 2+ touchdowns in his last 5 full games. Of course, he didn't play a full game in Week 18. Baker Mayfield, 106.8 QB rate. I mean, he has been on fire, as I said, this season. And Tampa Bay, really one of the big things for them, both of these teams really, is how the defense is going to perform against these great offenses. Or, we're talking about 2 top 5 offenses in this game. The opposite of pretty much what we've talked about in every other matchup, where this game you've got 2 top 5 offenses. Whereas all of these other games, it feels like the defenses have just been stacked up. The Chargers-Texans game, the Eagles and Packers game as well. So now we're getting to see the offensive side of things, and I fully expect Sunday night to be fireworks between the Bucs and Commanders, and I'm very excited to watch this game. Tampa Bay defense, though, has held opponents under 20 points in the last 4 out of 5 games. They've held quarterbacks to a 96.6 rate, which is 25th in the league this season, not just during that time span. So that's for the whole season. The 20 points and under is the last 4 out of 5 games. So Tampa Bay's defense has stepped up. You got guys like Vita Vea, Super Bowl champion, defenders, Levante David, who of course we talked about on the injury report a little bit, but you still have some of these guys from that Super Bowl run with Tom Brady a few years ago. I mean, they still do have a very good defense. Just depends on, what Tampa Bay defense is going to show up each week. Washington, on the other hand, 4+ sacks taken in the last 3 out of 4 games. So Jaden Daniels, he's getting roughed up back there. That is, good news for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, 46 sacks this season. That's tied for 6, but they also bring the second highest blitz percentage in the entire league. Todd Bowles is coming after you the entire game. Now, to counter that, Jaden Daniels versus the blitz, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has had 114.7 rate, which is 6th in the league. Washington versus running backs. Now, this is going to be key. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go into that in just a second. But Bucky Irving versus Washington defense is going to be, key. But just talking about Jaden Daniels against the blitz, this is where I think Jaden Daniels can shine. You still have, great weapons. Zacchaeus has emerged. Of course, Terry McLaurin, who has been a stud for years, who finally has a top-flight quarterback. I think Jaden Daniels gets the chance to really show, what he's made of in the postseason. And I think this is going to be a big matchup between, Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield, kind of how we see them in the grand scheme of things, at least on the NFC side. The hierarchy of quarterbacks is a little bit different over on the NFC side because I don't think that you have as much elite talent, I guess, because when you really look at the top couple of tiers of the NFL, they're all AFC quarterbacks. You got Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen that, I'd say, we can get into it, but you got, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in their own tier. You got Patrick Mahomes in his own tier, and then maybe if you want to throw Burrow in there. But NFC-wise, it's kind of hard to say anybody really goes into that tier with those 3 or 4 guys from the AFC side. So I think that this is going to be kind of like a prove-it matchup with these two quarterbacks who can go out and take it just because these defenses are not as good as these offenses, numbers-wise. Now, going to the other side on Tampa Bay's offense, Bucky Irving is going to be, big in this game, and this is why. Washington against running backs this season has allowed 4.9 yards per carry against opposing backs, which is 30th in the league. Tampa Bay and Bucky Irving are going to have to take advantage of this. I think they're going to need to run the ball. They're going to need to be able to move the rock, and I think keep it on the ground, work off play action. I think that is really their ticket to victory right there. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay has allowed a 25.9 quarterback pressure percentage, which is 2nd in the league. So that being said, they're doing a great job at protecting Baker Mayfield. Only Josh Allen is better. In the Buffalo Bills, the quarterback pressure percentage that they're giving up. So that is also huge. I mean, I think there's a lot that really aids Tampa Bay going into this. I totally get why everybody is on the Tampa Bay hype train. They're favored in this game, and we will look at that next into the numbers on the betting side. Looking at the lines on this game, it is tight coming into Sunday night's game with Tampa Bay and Washington. -3 is the line for Tampa Bay on the spread. We got 50.5 is the over-under on the game. And then if you're looking at money lines, you got +138 on Washington, -163 on Tampa Bay. And honestly, I think this game looks good to put something like a Terry McLaurin or a Bucky Irvin anytime touchdown. I think either one of those guys really look like good targets in this game for an anytime touchdown. Personally, I haven't looked up those odds to see either one of those, what they're looking like. But I do think they're almost locks, and especially in a game that could produce so much offense. I mean, the over is looking very good, I think, in this one. So I'm definitely going over. I'm taking Washington, and we'll get into my score prediction, but I'm taking Washington on that money line. And I don't think that on my score prediction, I don't think that Tampa Bay is covering that -3 spread. I don't think it's going to be close. Not that close. We'll get into that in a minute. But again, so much potential to score so many points in this game. All of the offense where you have, guys like Terry McLaurin. Also the backfield for Washington with Eckler being back. Jaden Daniels was the leading rusher for the Washington Commanders in 2024. Just so much potential for unlimited offense. Zacchaeus has come out and emerged as a very good receiver in Washington as well. And we'll see how that fits into, the scheme. But I feel like the game script of this game is going to be, it's going to be fast-paced, moving. Each team going to be moving up and down the field and maybe have some drives here and there that really, you get a big incompletion or a penalty that really, gets an offense out of rhythm, and you see a quick change of possession. But then I think it's going to go right back to, back and forth, and whoever can score the most points is what this game is going to come down to. So I definitely think hammer that over. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the betting side of things for this one. Now to get into my prediction. So final score, Washington 35, Tampa Bay 31. I've got the Commanders winning this one in a bit of an upset. And I'm 100% going off of vibes here. Jaden Daniels has had a year where he has made some crazy comebacks. Of course, the Eagles game, the Bears game, some of those just crazy moments. Now, granted, both of those have happened in that home stadium in Washington. So he's going to have to take some of those antics on the road. But I do believe, wild card weekend, it just feels like, a weekend where crazy things happen in the NFL. And I'm just going with the vibe of the Commanders and what they've been able to do so far this season. I feel like they're a team that really believes in each other. And Dan Quinn has gotten that locker room really rallied behind each other. So I feel like they don't have a moment where they, don't believe that they can't win the game. Now, that being said, on the other side of the field, there's a guy named Baker Mayfield that I 100% feel the exact same way about. That guy is going to go out there and put everything out on the football field and make sure that, he puts everything out there and they're never out of it. They can win at any moment in the game. But I just have a feeling, inclination. So take it as you will. I'm rocking with the Commanders in this game. 35-31 again is my final score. We'll be back tomorrow with the preview of the Monday night game, which is, of course, the Los Angeles Rams hosting the Minnesota Vikings. I had to think about that one for a second. And that will be the Monday night game. Of course, they were moved to Arizona in Phoenix at the Cardinal Stadium, of course, due to the LA wildfires. Unfortunate in that situation, but we'll get one more playoff game out of the weekend, so we'll be back tomorrow with that. Also planning on bringing the podcast back finally. It's been a couple of weeks with the holidays and everything going on since I have been sitting here talking Chiefs football with you guys, so we'll be back with that. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I'm on the road to 300 subscribers, growing a community here on YouTube, and looking to get your guys' opinions, so hit that comment section. Let me know who you got winning, Washington or Tampa Bay in this game, and your future predictions for the NFL playoffs, where you see everything going. So we will see you in tomorrow's game preview.